Alright, dudes and dudettes, look, check it out. It's part 2 time of the daily. Ooh. We just got the chance to see Dongre bring the noise, killing off everything. Sora, I talked about having this +1 attack upgrade being very nice. But suddenly we're in the situation where Dongre has what we'd call an advantage, but not necessarily the win at this point. This is one of these spots that's weirdly hard to play in, because most of the time the Zerg is going to be having those 3 bases, going to be having all that economy. So in one of these situations where a Zerg player has successfully thwarted an early expand from Protoss, what can the Zergy buddy expect? First and foremost, you can almost always expect your Protoss opponent to build a good chunk of sentries in order to take this expansion. Makes total sense. The Protoss can't rely on building wall-offs plus cannons, so he's going to rely on force field as wall-offs until he can get some of those other structures up. So in this spot, I really love the fact that DRG is just droning like a madman. Just going insane with the drones. The Zerglings permit Dongre to do the spotting in case anything goes awry. Nice. Also, Sora is going to be rather low on gas. A lot of those big gas-heavy strategies, like going air and then robo, won't work. So Sora largely has to commit to like one tech path, or a very gateway-heavy tech path at the very least. Dongre continues to expand. Fantastic. A nice thing that Dongre does get to cut pretty comfortably is going to be the queens. Doesn't need a huge number of queens ultra early on, which is pretty standard. Dongre can actually just cut all the damn corners right now. It's largely going to be gateway units. I mean, in theory, some phoenixes could begin to pop out. But this is what's nice about Dongre extra flood of Zerglings. I shouldn't say extra flood of Zerglings, I should just say his flood of Zerglings. It's going to force moments like this to happen, where you'll see many more sentries are starting to fall. A lot of that energy is super low, and Dongre even building more Zerglings to continue to apply pressure to the front. Just one round. Nothing wildly dramatic, but without extra gas. Like right now, if Sora had been going Phoenix, this is what I mean by like you can't do multiple techs on one base very well in PvZ. Because I mean, you can just see. Imagine if there were... Actually, this is just enough gas for one Phoenix. Because the Stargate is 150. And the gas for the Phoenix is 100. So this is very typical. And I think very smart for the Roach Warren to go down. We don't really need to worry about super varied defenses, something like Hydralisks, higher tech. We can just be pretty blunt, and I think that this is another one of the smartest defensive moves we see out of Dongre. Either you go for a huge gateway push and try to kill me, in which case you automatically lose to Burrow, or you are going for Robo, and there's nothing that I have to worry about, because you just can't afford enough units and the Robo facility. A Protoss on one base actually hardly has like anything at all, especially because this gas count is so low. So here is one of the few circumstances where I'm like pumping my fist to get more roaches out early. Oh yeah, oh baby, the roach, oh hell yes. Because this army from Sora is almost always going to be pretty heavy on the gate robo. And let's think about that a little bit. I'm going to make an assertion that I will evidence loosely by what the gas count says. I just mentioned this a minute or two ago. You can't really go for multiple tech paths as Protoss when you're on one base. So now that the Protoss is back on one base, what if the Protoss went for air? Let's just assume that Protoss went for air and assume that Protoss had enough stuff to get his expansion up. Well, okay, he's just spent a lot of gas getting the air units. What else? Well, I guess Protoss is going to need some detection to be able to see Burrow, so a Robo's got to come out. So already he's being kind of stretched a little thin. Hydras are going to be really good in that spot, because then the Protoss player would likely have to get Colossus up. The air units aren't really going to help against Hydralisks, so you can kind of see how, especially given the gas count and the timing, most Protosses will immediately go, no, I don't really want to go air. That's pulling myself a little too thin in too many areas. So, okay. What then? Well, Protosses will probably go for something more robo-y, more gateway-y. And the big lead that Dongregu has now is minerals. He has a huge mineral lead. Actually, I should say, in particular, Sora doesn't have a ton of gas. So I really like this choice to go Roach. Some of the biggest things that kill Roach are, very quietly, a big amount of gas. And it's kind of subtle, but it's a lot to having a ton of force fields, and immortals, and blink stalkers, Colossus in there too. But it's, in particular, the sentries that screw with Roaches. But we already know that he's going to be kind of low. It's that combo of gas units that Roaches will struggle a lot with in the mid-game. So great, Dongregu is just leveling that up. This is another, I think, brilliant move by Sora. Sora is doing what is most commonly done, and I think what's probably the strongest option, to just do something that's a little more gateway-centric. But he's going for a very fast +2 ground attack, because, hell, if he's low on units, he may as well pop out 2 cheap upgrades to make them very strong units. Now, you'll see charge starting here. Ignore that, because they all get cancelled. But look at this! A single Zergling Burrow. A single Zergling Burrow. No expands for you, Sora, unless you get a robotics facility with observers. Do you just see how great that is? Okay, look. Look, if there is ever a more explicit version of forcing, I can't think of one. We get Burrow, blah, 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 defend, but if we get Burrow and we burrow it at each expansion, he has to get a Robo or observers. Sure, he could get a Stargate and get Oracle, but that sucks compared to getting a robotics facility with an observer. So now, oh my goodness, Dongregu no longer has to worry tremendously about a player who skipped the Robo to, say, do something like Zealot Archon, which is what Sora's doing. Where the hell's the Templar Archives? Oh, there it is. Yeah, Sora's going Zealot Archon, but now DRG is forcing a certain type of answer. Holy boner Amanda. Oh my god, that's incredible. Again, to recap all that brilliance really fast. Dongregu kills off the expansion. Very likely, Sora is going to do something gateway-focused, probably with a Robo. If he doesn't do something with the Robo, we get Burrow no matter what, so we'll definitely crush his attack with Burrow Roaches. And just in case, we can burrow a Zergling at each expansion, which therefore forces him to get that detection from the Robo. Holy gamer skills. Okay, sweet. So now we see, you know, Glial Reconstitution, range attack upgrade, cool. In this unusual spot where Sora was effectively up against a one-baser, or excuse me, where Dongregu was up against a one-baser, he can pretty heavily favor a Roach-centric composition. Roach Hydra, that sort of thing. Or, as we will eventually see, Roach Infester. So, what we see, I'm going to go to the Dongregu cam, because we're going to close this out pretty quickly. Dongregu knows that his opponent's going to have to do some sort of attacky pushy thing, as he's scouting for. Sora, I think, does an odd but very smart move. He goes, oh shit, I'm screwed. I skipped the Robo, so I'm going to catch up as fast as possible with a double Robo and just slam out some of them wonderful Happy Time Immortals. And look what Dongregu gets to do. In production, we see more drones coming out. We see some Lings coming out, an Infestation Pit coming out. Dongregu's trying to be a little bit more on the offense here. He's getting a Spire just in case, but make no mistake, this is not for a Mutalisk transition. This is a Roach-centric force. I've said that before. No need to overcomplicate it. Roach-centric has been the answer all along. How do we make sure we don't lose with our Roach-centric force with too many gateway units? We're going to get an infestation pit with pathogen glands. How do we make sure our Roach-heavy force doesn't lose to Colossus? We get Corruptors to reinforce them. Very straightforward. So Dongrai-gu is just doing very straightforward flooding with Lings, pathogen gland, more Roaches. Ling Roach Infester. Oh, look at that. Even getting the Evo Chamber upgrade. Still being active. Still using Burrow Lings to spot things. Don't forget how amazing those suckers are. Doing little runaroundies. Can almost get that Pathogen Glands upgrade done in time for the Infestors, but, I mean, Dongrai-gu has locked this down and gained such an economic lead that I don't even think he uses it in this fight. I think he just goes. And by the way, you can totally be more patient here as Dongrai-gu. You don't have to take this. You can move forward and dart back. You can have a little more patience because we know for a fact that he hasn't expanded. We know this for a fact. Isn't that nice? +2's done. So impressed. So Dongrai-gu just nails it with a pair of fungal growths. There's only 2 Infestors that ever participate in this fight. Don't matter. Zerglings swarming in from all angles. I mean, this is a little bit scary, but this is where we get to see what I was talking about very, very early on. What really crushes Roaches is a lot of gas from Protoss in a nice gassy unit mix. Gassy Immortals, gassy Stalkers with Blink, and most importantly and gassiest, Sentries. They have no energy. Even with 8, they got no more energy. So as those die, we see very quickly the fate that will befall this army. Utter devastation. Roaches are just easily gonna rock this hard. This is one of those fights that appears to be close, but is actually ridiculously one-sided. And there is still no expand. So I'm going to go ahead and ×8 this because it's kind of a formality at this point. I mean, we have 1 live Zerg and 1 dead Protoss. Protoss goes for gold. Protoss tries to hold. Zerg masses things like Roaches and Infestors and Lings. Protoss tries to expand. Dongrai-gu provides a backhand. A Warpin in the main. Sora is dead all the same. Infestors and Roaches and Lings and other assorted pastries and things. A Corruptor or 2. Oh, what will he do? He's gonna have to GG. He's totally dead. I'm not rhyming anymore. He's super dead. Remember that Spire we built? Not for a Muta switch. Just to get reinforcing Corruptors, just in case. Not enough gassy units to hold off this force. See you later, alligator. Sora never gives up because he was trained in the fantasy school of GG, but he's dead. Nice. What a gorgeous game. I just started to learn Go, so I'm going to reference my Go knowledge by talking about something called a kill sequence. Uh-oh. I just closed the replay. And I think it crashed. Whatever. Let me talk about the kill sequence. Oh, everything's fine. Never mind. Kill sequence in Go is a guaranteed pattern of placing stones that will guarantee the capture of a certain oh crap, what's the word? Not collection. Not a collection of stones. That's so wrong. I don't know. I don't remember what the word is. But it's a guarantee. It's a sequence of moves that guarantees the death of a certain group. That's the word. So I loved that last game. DongRegu identified Gateway Nexus Cybernetics Core. Aha, I have a kill sequence. I can flood with lings and guaranteed kill off that Nexus. And then brilliant, brilliant follow-up. The Burrow to defend. Oh wait, you're not attacking? Well, I'll just double burrow at these expansions to make sure you have that Robo. And if you don't, I'm going to punish you all the same. Now, it could have turned out to be a very different game. Had Sora gone for a very fast Robo follow-up. It could have been a very different game if DongRegu had seen Gateway Cybernetics Core and then a Nexus. But the important thing to take away is that in this one sliver, where it was first Gateway Nexus and then Sora skipped the Robo, we saw how brilliant DongRegu's moves were and can reappropriate those in our own play. Just gotta improve by 1 or 2% every few games to learn a new sliver of knowledge in the game, and then soon enough you will have a city of strategies in your mind. You can manufacture wins again and again and again. Alright. This is Yonsu. I got DongRegu here. We got Sora down here. I first want to watch Sora's opening because I just think it's sexy as hell. I just think both these players are absolutely fantastic. So watch this. Gateway first. How familiar. Let's see what Sora does differently, shall we? Gateway, gas. Oh, what in the ass. Double gas very swiftly. Some interesting pylon placement out of Sora. But all will soon be made known. Very fast double gas, not a problem. Putting 2 in each, getting a cybernetics core up when he can. Chrono boosting out probes. Zealot coming up. Most often, the purpose of this Zealot is to be cancelled at 90% to provide enough funds for the Nexus. I think that might be the most frequently talked about thing that I ever do. So we see the probe very far forwards, seeing nothing. So that means that this little Zealot gets cancelled. Hell yeah. Oh, I still love that. It still tickles my fancy. Alright. Next things next. Mama Ship Core. Warp Getu. And we have on our hands an extremely standard play. Now, Sora does have balls of steel, given last game, to be willing to do this build, but I still dig it. Mothership Core moves out very aggressively. Stalker is the next thing on the list. Now, what we'll frequently see is something along the lines of a Stargate, and then Gateway Pylon, or Gateway here, and then a Stargate on this hidden guy. Or sometimes we'll just see Gateway, and a very fast Gateway attack. But instead, we see a robotics facility going down at 4:45. Oh, by the way, oh, Frito the Demon in chat just saying, why would anyone start the Zealot with the intention of canceling it? We only want the Zealot if we're up against a 6 pool. The probe that moves down to the Nexus will have seen 6 pool lings by then. So if you see the 6 pool lings, you let the Zealot finish. If you see nothing, let's just assume he's not 6 pooling. Cancel the Zealot, build the expand. What if the Zerg player 6 pools and holds his Zerglings until he has 12 and then attacks? Then you lose. You totally lose. Don't worry about it. So here's what I'm digging about Sora. Going for the fast Robo, followed by the Sentry. There's the Gateway going down. We're going to see a 3rd Gateway going down. You heard? We're going to also see a Pylon going down at some point, but of course no rush at all. We're going to see this Overlord move in, and we can see rather clearly why Sora does a number of moves now. Why the pylon here? So he can build a robo in a spot that's hard to scout. We can see in the DongRegu cam, he just barely didn't get to it. The Overlord got right there, but there's where it is. Same thing goes for this Overlord. If it tries to move in, oh wait, that's why he got the Stalker first with the Sentry. So here is the boss move. Chrono Boost being saved on the Nexus so that it can go down on the Immortal. And what we are going to have is one of the most ridiculously fast Immortal Sentry pushes humanly possible. Here comes 1 and 2. Doobity boop doo 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 doo. Only after that second Immortal gets started do more gateways go down, and the gateways that are down just buildeth the sentries. There's 2 more popping out. You know what's up next? A Warp Prism. Now, normally, if you guys are familiar with the Soul Train, the Soul Train from Parting is a 3 Immortal push that begins at 9 minutes and 15 seconds. It pops out of this base at like 9 minutes and 15 seconds. But here it's at 7 minutes and 25 seconds. Oh my god. Wall off from Sora. Zealot gets constructed at the front just to be rally fodder. Mothership Core clearing out the watchtowers. The amount of sweet play here is absolutely amazing. We don't have a lot of sentries, but my god, we have sentries. Those 5 gates that haven't been doing much are soon enough going to be warping in. And guess what? We're building probes on the backside. What are we, crazy? No, we're Sora. And we're immortal. Isn't this a beautiful gameplay? Time warp. Ooh! At this moment, we get to answer the question, why would Sora choose this map to do this strategy? We can see it with these force fields. There's a lot of thin alleyways. The most dangerous location is moving from here to here. This space, maximum ability to get pinched. But the rest of the time, look, when I'm up here, I can force field at this ramp, force field at this ramp. Ooh, another dangerous journey up to there. Oh, but once I'm up there, I can force field that. And I can easily force field these tight corners. And when I'm in the fight, I can force field his ramp. I can force field all angles. Oh, so easily. Look at me, I'm Gosu ×2, warping in Zealots. Warping in Zealots, I'm a crazy man, whoa. When we come back in part 3, we're going to analyze what DongRegu's opening is, what he does in response to Sora's moves, and then we'll finish the game seeing both of their respective follow-ups. Oh, that was my clippity-clappity song. I hope you enjoyed it.